Today, two normal home cooks trying to identify the imposter. Two dishes created almost identically. Only one item has changed.
I feel like it's got a bit of spice to it.
What are you doing?
That item, we have a real version and a fake imposter.
Ooh.
Can the boys spot the difference? You're blindfolded?
Yep, yes.
Are we?
And you have A and B in front of you. They are both hot, including the dishes. Be careful.
Oh,
You're both digging into A.
oh guys, got a lot of give. Oh wow, garlic. Oh,
Really?
very garlicky.
Oh, some potato dauphins.
Potato, cream, garlic, nicely seasoned. It is potato dauphinoise.
Okay, right.
That's A. And B, prepared identically. Same weights and measures, times and temperatures.
Is that as garlicky? Or am I now just like, have I adapted to the garlickiness?
Oh no, well, the bit that I had like a bit of a different flavour to it.
I'd say the potatoes feel different.
Yeah, it's got a weird taste to it
Really?
that isn't in that A.
The biggest flavour in this is garlic. I'm guessing we're talking garlic.
You're wrong. It's cream. One of these is using cream, and one of these is using an imposter.
Oh, Elmley type thing. Is that what it's called, Elmley?
Elmley type thing, yeah.
Okay.
And once you think you've worked it out, identify the imposter, scribble down A or B. You've both locked in an answer. You can take your blindfolds off to see if it would make any difference. Not that you're allowed to change your mind. It's difficult now you've dug in. A had more gratination and colour. And in terms of the cooking, A bubbled over onto the tray it was on, whereas B didn't.
So whichever one is the fake is adding a different flavour profile to the dish.
Or not doing as good a job as cream, which I prefer A. Because I think the fattiness of the cream has carried the flavour of the garlic.
Well, let's see what you've both locked in. We've asked you to identify the imposter and you scribbled down in 3, 2, 1.
B.
B.
You both think B is the imposter. In this first round, I can confirm that the imposter is B.
Good start.
Come on.
So what you've got, A is Longley Farm Jersey Extra Rich Double Cream, and B, the fake or the imposter, is Elmley Double.
Oh, that's good stuff, that is. That's got skin on it as well. Oh.
So what is Elmley?
So it's a blend of buttermilk and vegetable oil.
So it's not dairy free?
It's not dairy free, but it is 61% buttermilk. So the bit that's left after you've taken the richness of butter out, so not a huge amount of the richness, and then emulsified with vegetable oils. So it's not quite like margarine compared to butter, which is just oil-based, but kind of similar.
Why?
Yeah.
It's a cheaper product
Okay.
because once you've taken the good bits out to make butter, you're left with buttermilk, and then you mix that with a cheaper vegetable oil and you end up with a product. So it's definitely cheaper.
Fine.
But Elmley will also say it stays fresher for longer, over double the shelf life of dairy cream, both before you open it and after you've opened it.
So the Jersey Extra Rich, as a process, it's just been pasteurised.
Yeah, made with British milk. It's the Longley Farm. They've been producing dairy products for well over 50 years, all natural, and by law, 48% milk fat to be classed as double cream.
What's the expiry date on that? 1st of April.
1st of April,
We're
yeah.
filming this the last week of March. That runs out the 1st of April, so in about a week. This runs out at the beginning of August.
It's almost like UHT.
Yeah, it's kind of long life.
Yeah.
Long life
The
cream.
oil is almost preserving it.
Yeah.
And if you look at the ingredients list, there's also water and a whole bunch of other things in it.
That's everything you kind of expect from cream if you're going to pour cream over a dessert, it has to
I mean, that just puts a
treat.
smile on your face.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's rich, it's glossy, but it's also sweet. It has the lactose and the sweetness that comes through with fresh dairy.
And a bit farmy as well.
And over time, it actually becomes sour and goes off quicker than the Elmley.
That coats my mouth in a oil.
But it doesn't really taste of anything.
It's creamy.
It's creamy.
It's creamy.
It's creamy oil.
And let's be honest, it's also an ultra-processed food. Now, obviously the Jersey pot is also processed because it's been pasteurised, it's been put in a pot, but essentially one could come straight out of a cow and be unprocessed. That has been pasteurised. Whereas Elmley, you have to do an awful lot to combine buttermilk and vegetable oils and water and a whole bunch of other ingredients. It is on par with UK supermarket own brand double cream at 55 pence per 100 millilitres. Whereas the Longley Farm Jersey extra rich double cream is 92 pence per 100 ml.
I still can't get over how much more garlicky A was than B.
Which in itself is an interesting conversation around how dairy fat carries garlic.
Yeah.
Or protects the garlic compared to buttermilk and oil. Well, you both identified the imposter in the first round. Let's move on to round 2.
Bring it! Good start, Evers.
Same rules apply, A and B. One of them is an imposter.
In for the A. Wait a minute. I think I've got a whole...
What have you got?
I think we've got a slice of bread to share.
I thought it was cut.
Is it cut?
No, it's not.
Why would you
I don't know, because Kush is tackling from upstairs. I presumed it was cut.
Lady the trumpet.
That's all you wanted. All right, come on, Jay.
Lovely.
I've got feta. I've got tomato. Yeah, tomatoes.
On a toast, a little bit of a tomato marinated and then some olives. Try B.
Where's our friend?
Oh, why are we holding hands whilst we're
I'm
doing
trying to
it?
find your end. Put it down. Put it down.
You can't put it all in, Jay.
What are you doing?
You're allowed to bite.
It's got to be the feta, right?
Gotta be the feta.
You were right, it was the feta.
I do think B is farmier. I think it has. I can taste the grass.
I think from a dairy point of view, both Jersey milk and feta cheese, I think it's an acceptable description, but what you really mean is that kind of nuance of pasture.
So I'm only going for the cubed version because I feel like that's where I'm going
got
to
it.
see the biggest difference. And I think there is a not massive, but also not subtle texture difference. One sticks into your teeth a little bit more, feels whilst crumbly, but also has a proper bite to it. Whereas the other one feels a little less texturesome.
I'd say A is it's sweeter and almost more fruity. Whereas B, once it crumbles down, it then melts in the tongue afterwards.
Which of those do you think was the real feta and therefore leading you to identify the imposter? Remember, it's the imposter we want you to scribble. Let's see how interesting when you take your blindfolds off, which you can do, and see if there's any visual difference.
Do you know what it feels like to me? Conversation that we've had somewhat recently about cheddar cheeses.
Yep.
Where we were talking about like mature cheddar and how it crumbles a lot more. And B gives me that mature vibe from a taste and texture perspective, whereas A feels more like a mild cheddar equivalent.
So let's see what you scribbled. 3, 2, 1.
A.
You've both identified the same imposter, and I can reveal that in round 2, the imposter cheese is A.
Yes!
Cool.
Yeah, we're good at this.
Okay, right.
So this is what we're looking at. A, the imposter, as you spotted, is Stamford Street Co., which is Sainsbury's. They're Greek-style salad cheese.
Blooming styles.
Yeah.
It's same as when you see like Italian hard cheese.
It is white brine cheese designed to mimic feta's look and application, and it is made from cow's milk. Whereas B, the real thing, has PDO status from the EU. It is Epiros Greek feta. It has to be made in the Epiros region, and then there's lots of other rules it has to stick by, but the key is it must be at least sheep or sheep and goat milk.
I think for a simple salad to get a fleck of feta-like, does a job of feta.
You can have a Greek-style salad.
Yeah. As long as you're okay with that. But if you want the funk and the hit of actual feta, that's special.
The real thing to identify is that the real thing, the PDO status cheese, tends to be stronger, richer, brinier and saltier and more crumbly. And it is almost certainly stored in an awful lot of liquid, as you've proven by spilling a little. Whereas the alternative tends to be creamier and more mild, and you're right, a bit rubbery in its consistency. If you're looking for what to buy, because again, these are two fair extremes, look for the milk. and the animal that it comes from, because it is the sheep and the sheep or goat that will tell you that you've got that tang and that more lactic flavour that you'd expect from an amazing feta cheese. The Greek style salad cheese, £4.25 per kilo. You're unlikely to ever buy a kilo, but if we do it per kilo, we can make the comparison. How many more times more expensive do you reckon the PDO status cheese is?
I reckon maybe
three. Yeah, 15 quidish.
6.2. It is £26.25 per kilo. So that pack there was £5.25 alone.
This is what I was thinking. The price of food continues to go up and up and up for a lot of the right reasons in terms of how do you produce something of the right quality and all of that. So actually having something that does a very similar job but can be produced cheaper and therefore becomes more accessible to more people who would be priced out of something like this.
Yeah, it has a place.
Definitely has a place. It makes it more accessible.
We kept it pretty simple here in terms of just on a Greek toast, but lots of applications for feta cheese in sidekick because it's really salty, briny, delicious creaminess, crumbled over all sorts of dishes that get baked or stirred through pasta sauces. Lots of applications, and there's lots of sort of varying degrees of it. It's just always worth remembering you get more milk per head of a cow than a sheep or a goat.
This is why I love these videos, is those little tidbits of information and things to look for. Whenever I pick up a can of coconut milk, I look at how much percentage of coconut is in that can because of one of these videos. I'm now going to do the same when it comes to feta.
Great. Hope you do too. Move on to round 3. Round 3, this is going to be tasty.
Ooh.
Can you find the imposter?
What the heck is this?
What
is that?
Oh, that's got some mustard on it. Oh, flipping heck.
I think you've got a mustard dressing over some lettuce with some fried capers.
Oh, I've
but
got
the
a
thing
ham
you want to
pie.
taste is in the middle of the plate.
I think I got a pie.
You got pie?
I got pie, you got lettuce.
What?
There's a pasty.
Yeah, but a pasty is in the handheld snack.
Yeah, but it's
Designed to be handheld?
Yeah, but it's been nicely dressed on a plate with some dressed salad leaves, and I wouldn't want you to get oily fingers.
Yummy. Is it like it's a ham pie?
It is indeed a cheddar and ham pasty, surrounded by some dressed leaves with fried capers and a mustard dressing. That's A. Do you want to try B?
What's wrong? You picked it up?
Yeah.
Can I have a bit? Oh wow, it really is weighty.
Make sure there's plenty of filling in it for sure. Remember, we're looking for you to identify the imposter. Is it the lettuce? Is it the mustard? Is it the capers? I'll tell you it's not. Is it the cheese, the ham, or the pastry?
Really tricky.
Baz is going back for A.
Now I've actually got to the pie, Evers.
Yep.
I think I know what's going on.
Excellent. Point to a plate that you prefer. Okay.
Are we looking at ham?
We are looking at the ham. And therefore, all I ask you to do is scribble down A or B. Remember, I want you to scribble down the letter associated to the imposter, in your opinion.
Imposter, I think, is that one.
In that case, you've both locked in an answer. Remove your blindfolds, have a peek, see if you can see any difference.
Oh, how was that supposed to...
Oh my God!
No wonder I just picked up a lettuce.
Now you can see it. Any thoughts?
Yeah, visually massive difference. As soon as you can see the ham, you can see that one is really nice looking ham and the other is like the reconstituted style of ham products.
Yep.
One tasted a lot more watery.
Yep.
And had a rubbery texture to it, whereas one had the pull of meat from through your teeth.
Interesting. In that case, reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1.
B.
A.
Yeah, I
You went very quiet when you could see it, Baz.
I saw the texture and then I realised I was completely wrong. Flavour-wise, in a pie like that, I don't think it made a massive difference. As an experience, when you put a whole pack of sliced ham into a pie, you've just smacked around the face of a lot of ham
So for me, it changed it from the equivalent of like a Greg's pasty to a baker's pasty. In terms of, it felt like B was a quality meat rather than a cheap mass market kind of meat.
It sounds like you're both already agreed, but in this round, the imposter is A. And that's what you're looking at. So A is indeed the imposter. It is Premier Deli cooked ham slices. So it is reformed ham, cured and cooked with added water. Whereas B is M&S's British Wiltshire roast ham, which is just sliced roast ham made from British outdoor bred Wiltshire cured pork leg.
Thing is, I haven't got a problem with processed ham. My favourite ham of all is mortadella.
Oh, what an interesting way to say that.
Strange, isn't it?
It's a salami, actually.
Because of that, I don't mind this as an experience, but it's definitely not that, which is what that's trying to be.
Yeah.
You're spot on, and when you look at the ingredients list, it becomes very clear. So in order for M&S to make their British Wiltshire roast ham, it takes 107 grams of pork, raw pork, to make 100 grams of ham. So it's like 107% ham. And the only other ingredient is curing salt.
Okay.
Whereas the Premier Deli is 77% pork with other additives, including curing salts, the same as the M&S one, but also preservatives, stabilisers, antioxidants, dextrose, rice flour, maize starch, pork gelatin, rapeseed oil, turmeric, paprika extract, flavourings, glucose syrup, and honey. Huge list of ingredients in a massively ultra-processed product. If you taste it, it is sweet.
Yeah.
Because you think of maybe sweet cured ham, but actually it's just sugar that's been added to reconstituted pork, and invariably it's not even necessarily pork from the leg, which it has to be ham. The cheaper imitation is £8 per kilo, so £2 for that pack. Whereas the M&S, what do you reckon as a multiple?
£25 per kilo?
Yeah, I reckon 30-ish.
That's a fair guess. It's just above 30-ish at £33.18. So it is just over 4 times the price to buy actual ham rather than reconstituted pork sold as ham.
From my experience, we get through a lot of ham with kids. I think a lot of the parents I know, ham sandwiches are the go-to sandwiches at any birthday party.
Yeah.
So therefore, we will always buy the best we can, but it is getting ridiculous now price-wise.
And let's be honest, where are you putting that ham? If it's in a ham sandwich, make the ham good. If you're putting it in chopped up into a pasty, maybe you can get away with a cheaper alternative. Otherwise, spam it. A ham and mushroom pie is normally the off ends and the bits that you can't slice into perfect slices for a sandwich. All those little trimmings get chopped up and put in a ham and mushroom pie. Depending on the application will depend on the quality I think that you need to go for, or does it need to be the perfect slices? Can you get the ham offcuts? Last thing maybe to know, if you're just looking to buy ham and you don't want to go into all the research of stuff, good ways of spotting the real stuff. You're looking for muscle structure. You can literally see the difference in muscle structure rather than what is otherwise a very homogeneous texture of a reformed ham, and it should smell savoury and salty, whereas often the reconstituted stuff does smell sweet, and that is the added dextrose and other ingredients that tend to sweeten the product.
Oh, the smells in here are fantastic.
Same rules apply, A and B. Start with A.
Rice. Okay, wonderfully fragrant.
That is rice.
Saffron?
Definitely saffrony. We're supposed to be...
Is there more to it? Oh,
There's some other bits in there.
Ooh, what is that?
Oh, it's on a bone.
Yeah, it's nicer to cook meat on the bone, but I did
Can we have a chat about this blindfold thing?
It's baked chicken wing rice, essentially. So it's kind of that baked, almost pilau style rice, but it's cooked on the bone, so all of that lovely succulent dark meat around a chicken wing. And the ratio of meat to bone is high in a chicken wing, so you get loads of excellent flavour. Keeps it nice and moist. Right. And you're right, saffron. But what about B?
Rice again.
Still rice, yeah? Only one thing has changed. It's not the rice.
I feel like this one's got a tingle along my tongue. I feel like it's got a bit of spice to it, which I didn't get from the first one. Did I?
I'm not getting as much in my nose Like, the saffron from A hit every single sense. On B, I'm getting the metallic-y flavour of saffron, but not the fragrance of it. Metallic-y, is that right thing to say?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, lots of different descriptors. Deeply floral, earthy, a subtle bitter. I agree. I think it's quite metallic-y. I think it's a bit, can be almost like pennies if it's too strong.
I'm not a fan of heavily saffroned foods.
I think it's absolutely wonderful if balanced correctly, but it can be overpowering very quickly.
Are we talking saffron? Are these both saffron dishes?
These are both saffron dishes, as in a baked chicken wing rice dish. But can you spot the imposter?
It just has to be.
Okay, take your blindfold off, see if there's any visual differences.
Oh,
Blimey. Okay. Barry, I'm colourblind, right? They're two different colours.
They've both been prepared the same, and then for visual camera, we scattered a little over something. Okay, well, you can't change your mind anyway, but let's have a look at what you scribbled. Which one do you think is the imposter? 3, 2, 1.
B.
B.
And it is a combination of flavour, and now you can see it, visuals.
Well, visual,
else?
it conquers everything. Like, saffron gets everywhere, like on the tongue, in your nose. In this dish, I could taste a saffron-y spice, but none of anything else.
Yeah, it was there, but it was far more subtle than in A.
I can reveal that in this final round, the imposter is B.
Yeah.
You're both correct.
What the heck is that?
Let me show you. And that's what we're looking at. Jay, you are spot on. Saffron is incredibly expensive, and A is Bella Zoo's Category 1 Spanish saffron. Essentially, it has to be hand-picked with tweezers. It is the stigma, the very centre of a crocus flower. It's 3 to each flower. So you need 150 odd flowers to get a gram of saffron. But when you get it, all the things you've described is what it gives to a dish. Whereas B, Low Hill Valley, safflower petals.
Never heard of that
Now
before.
these are dried Carthamus tinctorius petals, and they're sold as a visual substitute for saffron because it gives a similar yellowy orange hue, but it's fair to say not really a flavour substitute. That said, has been used in a lot of very traditional cooking for thousands of years in places like New Mexico.
It's a beautiful ingredient. They're side by side saying, could it be imitated? I don't think it can. It's doing such a different job.
Well, it's doing a similar job. It's like adding essence of saffron rather than adding saffron.
Right.
In that dish, however, in a lot of dishes where it is the colour that is more important and where cost is key, the safflower is used a lot. So for example, in teas and the like, if you have a nice sort of sweet saffron tea, they might use an awful lot of the safflower petal to imitate the colour and the hue, which I'll be honest, we were hoping to get from that product. Evidently, a lot more of it is required to get that colour. Even with that in mind, you won't get the flavour. But it is very much considered a substitute for saffron in traditional recipes where cost is prohibitive. And a smart one when you realise that for a gram of Spanish saffron, Category 1 from Bella Zoo, that pack there is 1 gram and that pack there is £7.50.
Wow.
But it is picked in the Castilla-La Mancha area of Spain. It is hand-picked. It is very, very traditional, hugely labour-intensive, whereas safflower, 30 pence per gram. So there is a 25 times price difference. One is the stigma from the very centre of a crocus, and one is the petals, a separate flower.
If you want to give something the colour, it makes sense. Or if you want to make something look pretty at the end, and there is a flavour to it, but just used in the right way.
What I like though is that it's something else from nature that is doing a similar job, if not exactly the same. It doesn't deliver in all the same ways, but it does a comparable job. And it's something else from nature. It's not, that's really good, but it is really expensive. How do we manufacture something to do a similar job that we can do for much, much cheaper, which is what I think a lot of the
a
other
number of the other ultra-processed
today.
versions were. Not necessarily the cheese, that was just made using a different milk, but certainly the double cream. 4 rounds. Jamie takes a slight lead and win. But over to you guys. Were those 4 useful to you? Do you ever use the imitations or do you stick to the real thing? And comment down below, are there other ingredients that we could categorise for this game?